Good morning, students. This is your botany lecturer, Afreen Sultana, working in Vangara TSRJC, Varangal Urban District. Welcome back to another session of first unit, Diversity in the Living World. Before I begin, I would like to congratulate Durga from Hasanpati TSRJC. This student has forwarded her work to me directly, and really it was very excellent, fabulous work, neat handwriting, and clear cut answers were given. And I'm very happy. Very keenly, she is observing all the classes and listening and remembering and recalling everything is perfect. So I hope the same is being done by all other children in their respective colleges. Please give your feedback to your lecturers so that they can forward your work to me and I can take your name too. So now let us begin with the second chapter, biological classification. We'll have a recap of this once again. In this, you have learned about the five kingdom classification. Five kingdom classification, kingdom Monera, the bacterians are dealt with. Monerans, the bacteria are grouped into four. Archibacteria, the primitive one. Eubacteria, the modern bacteria. Mycoplasma, mycoplasma, the smallest living cell. And the fourth one, actinomycetes. In this group, streptomycetes are used for producing antibiotics. So the importance of this kingdom Monera was dealt in the earlier session. And kingdom Protista, the second kingdom. This kingdom has its own importance because all the unicellular eukaryotes having a distinct nucleus are included under this. Based on the mode of nutrition, they are divided into three categories: autotrophic, heterotrophic, and saprophytic. Autotrophic being the chlorophytes, dinoflagellates. These are included in photosynthetic protist. And heterotrophic, the protozoans. The protozoans are based on the locomotion. If they are having Ceropodia amoeba, if they are having flagella, cilia, paramecium. So like this photosynthetic and heterotrophic and the saprophytic, the molds. These are slime molds. These are categorized in the kingdom Protista. And the third kingdom, fungi. In the fungi also, we have proper classification based on the septa. The septa, if it is present, they are higher level fungi. The septa, if it is absent, they are called cenocytic, aseptate. Aseptate means the nucleus will be in the cytoplasm, many nucleus will be found. So it is called cenocytic, multinucleate. So the kingdom fungi is also divided into four categories. The phycomycetes, the lower fungi, excuse me, and deuteromycetes, the imperfect fungi, because sexual reproduction phase is not seen in this, and the ascomycetes and basidiomycetes. The ascomycetes will be having ascus sac-like structure, and the basidiomycetes they'll be having basidiospores produced. So based on the reproduction they are carrying, the ascomycetes and basidiomycetes are divided. So far we have completed kingdom fungi, and now we shall move on to the next kingdom, the plantae and the animalia. In this chapter, only little bit of introduction is given because further this plantae kingdom will be in the chapter 4. So we shall have kingdom plantae, kingdom animalia, and viruses, virides, and prions in this session. So let us get into the topic. So this is appreciation for Durga. Durga, very good. Keep it up. I'm looking forward for many more students, their work, efficiency, how they are listening, how they are properly completing their assignments. If they are doing so, it will be forwarded to their teachers, and the concerned lecturers are going to send it to me as a feedback so that I can mention their names in the next sessions. Kingdom Plantae, as you all are aware of plants, they are the producers, they are autotrophic. They will synthesize their own food by using the sunlight, carbon dioxide, water. All this is possible because of the chloroplast present in them. The chloroplast pigment is very important. It can trap the solar energy. And that is the reason the Plantae kingdom successfully, they are the producers. They are providing the food to the entire living forms. And the structure of chloroplast is very, very important. In second year, you will be having regarding this photosynthesis, the importance of photosynthesis, how it is going to take place in the small, minute structure called chloroplast, how the light can be fixed. All those things will be dealt in the second year. So kingdom Plantae, the habitat is aquatic or terrestrial. That means water plants and land living plants. Photosynthetic multicellular eukaryotes. They are having a distinct nucleus in the center, and also the cell wall is also present along with the plastids and vacuoles in the plant cell. And these are eukaryotes. The chlorophyll and other accessory pigments. Other accessory pigments means they will be also harvesting the sunlight, and they will direct it to the chlorophyll pigment, which is like a boss, which is going to form a reaction center where the sunlight will be absorbed, and it is going to utilize that particular light trapped for synthesizing the glucose or breaking the water molecules in the beginning and releasing oxygen, further followed by the dark reactions. So chlorophyll is very important, and it also takes the help of accessory pigments like xanthophyll, carotenoids, phycobilins. Cellulose cell wall. Sex organs are multicellular. In the earlier classes and earlier kingdoms you have learned, they are not having jacketed sex organ. They are having unicellular sex organ. But here in case of Plantae, they are having sex organs which are multicellular and properly jacketed, enclosed in a protective layer. With few exception case also found. And you can see green plants, these are the producers, and they also take the bottom place in a trophic level or food chain. Now classification of kingdom Plantae. You can see here plant-like structure. Plants, simply they are classified into two that do not have differentiated plant body. This is very important. Thallophyta, they are categorized in thallophytes. So when you study anything about thallophytes, you will come to know about fungi and algae. That means fungi and fungi and algae will be in the thallophytes. And don't get confused that when I'm mentioning here, do not have differentiated plant body. This is related to eukaryotes which are multicellular. When we are talking about multicellular, in these thallophytes, we can take the fungi as well as the algae. Even though the fungi is having a separate kingdom, we can consider it as thallophyte. Thallophyte means thallus, means not properly distinguished into a root system, shoot system, or the leaves. Okay, so here there is no particular root system seen in the fungi. Okay, and it will be having only filament like structure as you have studied in the earlier classes. The filaments will be present. Okay, rhizoids will be there, rhizoid like structures at the bottom. These are filaments. Okay, so fungus will also fall under Thallophyta. So don't get confused when Thallophytes option is given. In that, fungi is also a thallophyte. You have to tick it properly. Algae is also a thallophyte. Algae is nothing but mass of cells. Only it is mass of cells, many cells. It is called thallus. Okay, mass of cells. It is called thallus. The distinction or the difference between this fungi and algae. Fungi and algae. Fungi are saprophytes. They are non-chlorophyllous. Non-chlorophyllous. Chlorophyll is absent. Whereas the algae, they are chlorophyllous. They are having the chlorophyll. So under this, do not have differentiated plant body. Thallophyta will be having the fungi and algae. Okay, remember this for lifelong. Next, have differentiated plant body. That means they will be differentiated. They'll be having a plant body which is differentiated, giving the roots, branches, the stem, the shoot, all these things properly differentiated. Okay, so that's why they are under this. And here also we can further classify. We have to further classify them without specialized vascular tissue and with vascular tissue. Without specialized vascular tissue means xylem and the phloem are absent. Okay, then they are called bryophytes, the moss plants. Bryophytes, remember these bryophytes. These bryophytes are amphibians of plant kingdom. Amphibians means that requires both water and soil. Okay, like the frog, it lives in water. The eggs are going to hatch in the water when it is laid in the monsoon season, and after that it will be having metamorphosis life cycle, and finally it will become adult and it will jump. It will develop lungs. From the gill system it is going to develop the lung system, and it also respires through skin. Amphibians, uh, frogs, same manner bryophytes are also very considered as amphibians of the plant kingdom. They won't have xylem and phloem. But coming to with vascular tissue, with vascular tissue. Further, the plants which are having vascular tissue, the xylem and phloem. The xylem and phloem, you can see they are again divided. Do not produce seeds. They are not producing seeds. That means they are producing spores. Remember, there are two types. One is the spore producing spores. Another one is the seeds producing seeds. Okay, under the spore producing, you will be finding the fungi, algae, and bryophytes and these pteridophytes. You can see the pteridophytes. Pteridophytes are nothing but the fern plants. Beautiful fern plants you'll be seeing, no? These fern plants, ornamental purpose they'll be used. These fern plants are having the xylem and phloem tissue. That means the vascular tissue is present, but they are not producing seeds. They are producing spores, which are going to germinate into new individual. So in this manner, the vascular tissue will be comprising of spore producing and another one is seed producing. So let us move on to this next seed producing. Now, in this seed producing also, you'll notice naked, bare naked seeds, bare seeds inside fruits. That means some of the plants which are producing fruits, and in that the seeds are enclosed. Whereas gymnosperms, these are directly bearing the seeds. There are no fruits. Okay, on the cone they are going to form the seeds directly without any fruit system. So like this, the gymnosperms and angiosperms are two separated in the plant kingdom. Further, in angiosperms also, we can see the seed, whether the seed is single cotyledon. It is called monocot. two cotyledons. It is called dicotyledon. Okay, that means when you split the fruit, it must when you split the seed, it must split into two. These are two cotyledons. Okay, if you take a cashew nut or almond, you can divide into two, or the pulses, Bengal gram. So these pulses are going to have two cotyledons, or the tamarind, okay, mango. You can equally divide the cotyledons. So they are dicots. Whereas if you take rice, wheat, jawar, bajra, they have only single cotyledon. Cotyledon is nothing but the stored food material. When these seeds are getting separated from the parent plant, they must have some nourishment, food that will be stored in the cotyledon. In your primary classes, you might have been taught. So these cotyledons means the technical term cotyledon is nothing but the stored food material for the baby plant. That means when the seed will germinate, some food must be already existing there, and then it will develop or germinate and produce the radicle and the plumule. Radicle means the first root. Plumule means the shoot system. Okay, the new leaves which are going to come out. So radicle gives the root system, and plumule will give the shoot system. So in this manner, we are having, based on the types of cotyledons, two types, that is monocot and dicot. So once have a clear cut vision of this classification of kingdom plantae. The first basis criteria for differentiating is whether it is having a plant body or not. If not having a plant body, then it is thallophyte. In that, fungi, algae will be falling. And if it is having a plant body, whether it is having vascular bundles or not, xylem and phloem, then if it is not having bryophyte, if it is having vascular tissue, further we will check whether it is producing seeds or not. If not producing seeds, giving spores only, it is pteridophytes, the ornamental plants, ferns. Next, if it is producing seeds, whether the seeds are enclosed or naked. If the seeds are enclosed in a fruit, it is angiosperm. If the seeds are naked, they are gymnosperms. And if the angiosperms also, if the seed is enclosed in fruit, whether it is a monocot or dicot. So lifelong you are going to study in this order only. Further in higher classes you'll be knowing. Next, we'll move on to the next slide. Kingdom Animalia. So about kingdom plantae, in the fourth chapter, clearly you will be discussing about algae, the bryophytes, the pteridophytes, the angiosperms and gymnosperms. So it is mentioned in that. So in that class, we'll be having continuation of the kingdom Plantae. But for now, coming to the kingdom Animalia, the fifth kingdom, as per R.H. Whittaker, comprising of aquatic and terrestrial habitat. That means you can see animals in the water bodies as well as on the land. So that is a habitat, place where they are surviving. And these are also multicellular, eukaryotic, heterotrophs. They cannot prepare their own food. They may be either herbivore, carnivore, or omnivore. And some of them may be pathogens, parasitic. So here you can see diverse forms. Diverse forms means wide variety range of animals you can notice. Okay, from small to big, that you can see. First, aquatic habitat. If we see aquatic habitat, because the land is, our earth is covered by more water area, you'll be having several oceans. 5 oceans are there, and many river and water bodies are on the land as well. So in the aquatic habitat, you'll be having, in ninth standard you have learned about freshwater, marine ecosystem. All these ecosystems you have learned, and you are having an idea about the aquatic habitat. Varieties of animals can be found. Here it is comprising of 3 zones. The 3 zones free floating on surface. In the first zone, you can see the planktons. Plankton This is a common term for both plants and animals. If we are talking about animals, we have to say zooplankton. The zooplankton, like Daphne and Cyclops. If they are animals, they are phytoplanktons. This one, phytoplanktons. Phyto means plant, no? Phytoplankton. So don't get confused with this word plankton. Plankton means either phytoplankton or zooplankton. They are freely floating on the surface area. Next in nekton. Nekton, middle of the water, you'll find wide varieties of fishes. Okay, they are going to make the nekton. Next, benthos, bottom area of the water. Bottom area, you are seeing the benthic or the starfishes usually found on the surface of the ocean bodies. So in this manner, the kingdom Animalia is divided. For aquatic habitat, only water habitat is seen here. Next, water habitat is over. Terrestrial habitat. Terrestrial means land. On land also wide varieties of animals you will be seeing. Elephant, when you see elephant, I don't know what you remembered, but I remembered the elephant which died with a small baby because of human misbehavior, mischievousness. So here elephant I have placed, and one image of rabbit and deer, a beautiful deer. So these are lovely, beautiful animals. You can see many such animals are there on the earth, and we have to conserve our biodiversity. So here, terrestrial habitat. Terrestrial means it is of 5 types. 5 types. You can see fossorial. Fossorial means burrowing, like the earthworm and the rabbits. They'll be burrowing in the soil and they'll be living. Cursorial, fast running, like the deer, the horse. Sensorial, crawling on walls, like lizard, or crawling animals like alligator. Arboreal. Arboreal means living on trees, like monkeys, squirrels, birds. They'll be living on trees only. They are having their shelter all the time. Maximum time they are going to spend on trees only. Aerial, that means flying animals, like birds. They stay in air for a longer time. No other organisms can stay in the sky. If we want to jump also, we'll fall. If we want to fly also, we'll be falling down. We cannot fly, human beings. So only the birds, the apes. Apes means the birds. They are able to have this aerial habitat. They'll be flying high and they'll be finding out their food from heights. You might have seen eagle, how high it is going to fly. For several hours, it can be in the air itself. Even when it rains, the eagle, it will be above the clouds. Okay, and when it becomes older, and the beak, it is going to break the beak by hitting very hard on the mountain, so that a new beak arise. Okay, so for its survival, the eagle, it is going to have this type of arrangement. So it want to get a new beak, it is going to hit its beak very hard on the mountain and develops a new beak. So those are some important facts about animals. You may be knowing many more. Now the same animal kingdom, if we see based on level of cell organization, we'll be having 3 levels. The first one is the cellular level, whether it may be in water, aquatic habitat, or terrestrial land habitat. You can see cellular level. At cell level only, the organization. Multicellular, no coordination of cells. Example, sponges. Phylum Porifera. Porifera means the body will be cylindrical. They are sessile. They will not move. And porous. Body is porous. So these sponges are porous. Whereas the next level of organization, if you will see, we'll see tissue level organization. Here multicellular only coordination by cells is seen, and example is a hydra. Hydra belongs to phylum Cnidaria, and this Cnidarian group animal hydra will be having a cylindrical body only. It will exhibit locomotion by using the tentacles. It will be having at the mouth cavity tentacles. And hydra, it is going to reproduce by binary, this budding. It is going to produce a bud, soft bud, which develops tentacles and gets separated from the parent hydra. So this is a mode of reproduction also for this hydra tissue level organization. Next one is the organ level organization. That means multicellular coordination between tissues will be seen to form organs, and organs to form organ systems, and finally organ systems to organisms. So you'll be seeing that several organs will be there in our body. The cells will organize and form tissues. Group of cells are called tissue. This tissue may be epithelial, squamous epithelium. You have learned in 9th class. You are having connective tissue, muscle tissue, okay, nervous tissue. 4 types categories will be seen for the tissues. These tissues will be organizing and forming particular organ. Like for example, you are having the kidney. It is an organ. Okay, like this many organ will be having many other organs. Here it will be having the urinary bladder. The renal system is going to supply the blood, okay, for purification, and the urinary system, it is going to eliminate the waste formed in the body. So it is making a organ system here. Several such organ systems, whether it may be digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system, nervous system, so digestive system, so all these system, reproductive system, all these systems are going to make one organism, and this is called organ level organization. And all other higher animals will be falling in this. About this kingdom Animalia, you will learn in detail in your zoology class. Now coming to the viruses. If you see viruses, these are the connecting link between living and non-living. The first term you must remember about this virus is connecting link between living and non-living. And they are non-cellular. Non-cellular organisms means they won't have any cell. They are having only some genetic material enclosed by a protein cover. So some genetic material will be inside, and there will be a protein cover outside. So these are viruses. They have a capsid. This is called capsid. The protein material is called capsid, and the genetic material is called either DNA or RNA will be present for viruses. Next, the protein part forms a cover or coat called capsid and encloses the nucleic acid. Next, capsid is made up of proteins called capsomeres. So small proteins, they are called capsomeres. These capsomeres are going to make the protein cover of the virus. And capsomere may be helical or polyhedral. Helical or polyhedral. And the genetic material is either RNA or DNA. These viruses, either they may contain DNA or RNA, but single virus will not carry both RNA and DNA. It will either carry RNA or DNA. Viruses means venom or poisonous substance. That means it will have some killing effect. Why it will have some killing effect means, as I said, viruses are the connecting link between living and non-living. Outside the body of any plant cell or animal cell, if we see, these viruses are looking like a salt crystal. It will look like a salt crystal, means like a dead. But when it enters a host cell, host cell means it may be a plant or animal or even a bacteria also. Remember this, bacteria are the smallest living organisms, can be seen by microscope only. Further, these viruses are much more smaller. These viruses are much more smaller, can be seen only with the help of electron microscope. So These may infect plants, these may enter animal cell, these may also enter a bacterial cell. That means they are parasites, they are causing disease, they are obligate parasite. Obligate means compulsorily, if they want to multiply, survive, they will be either taking a plant cell or animal cell or bacterial cell only. That's why they are very poisonous after entering into any plant cell or animal cell. How the virus enter means the genetic material will be passed through a small pore through the bacterial cell or animal cell or plant cell, whatever this host cell, the virus is going to inject its genetic material. After getting the genetic material injected, it is going to multiply or take division. When it multiply, it is going to get filled up. It is going to eat away the components of the cell, and finally it will going to make the cell burst and release all the other viruses. These are going to invade the surrounding cells. Surrounding cells also will get the same thing. So in this manner, these viruses are going to have a killing effect. They are parasites. They are obligate parasites. Outside the host cell, they are unable to reproduce. That's why they'll be called as crystal particles, salt crystal particles, non-living outside the cell. So this is the thing about virus. Next, virus which infect plants contain RNA. RNA is single stranded. Single stranded means like this in helical form, and DNA will be double helix like this. Okay, this is single strand, this is double strand. DS means double stranded, single stranded means only one strand. RNA will be single stranded. Okay, so here you can see virus which infect animals contain DNA either single stranded or double stranded. So we can find the DNA as single or double strand, and virus is going to be single stranded or double stranded DNA which infects animals. So viruses, we learned some history about it. Even though the germplasm theory, which was given by Louis Pasteur, in that it was not discovered about virus, how these plants and animals they are getting infected, how they are going to die. They discovered only about the bacteria at the time. Louis Pasteur is called as father of bacteriology. And here the study of virus is called virology. And here we can see Ivanovsky. Ivanovsky, this scientist identified microbes from tobacco mosaic infected plant. That means the tobacco plant which is having the leaves showing yellow and green color. Yellow and green color means it is like mosaic form. 2 colors, 3 colors means mosaic form. So the tobacco leaf, it was getting infected by this particular virus, and the microbe was smaller than the bacteria. He has seen, Ivanovsky has seen the microbe is very smaller than the bacteria. And Bejanik, he isolated the fluid from this tobacco mosaic virus plant, and he took that fluid and injected in a healthy plant. When he has seen, when he's injecting the healthy plant, he found healthy plant also got infected. That means infection is possible by con- uh, contamination. Here you can see in a field, if one single plant is affected by this virus and the other leaf or other plant is coming in contact with this leaf due to wind or water something, the virus will get transmitted from one plant to another plant, another plant to another plant. Like this, complete crop is going to get spoiled or infected with this virus. So Bejanik identified that one TMV plant, if the fluid is injected to a healthy plant, then it is also getting infected. So finally Stanley, he crystallized the virus so that we can study properly. So he was successful in crystallizing the viruses. Next, viruses which infect bacteria are called bacteriophages. Just now I said viruses, they are called bacteriophages. This is a bacteriophage which is going to infect a bacteria, enter into a bacterial cell and cause disease or destroy the complete bacterial cell. So it is called bacteriophage. or phage bacteria. Phage means to eat. Phage means to eat. It will be eating away the bacteria. That's why the name bacteriophage. You can see in this diagram clearly. So this is nothing but the protein coat. Protein coat. And inside this one only, you will be having the DNA, the genetic material, either DNA or RNA will be present. Okay. So here, next adenovirus and human immunodeficiency virus is also seen. Human immunodeficiency virus is nothing but it is going to infect only human beings, and that to the immune system. Immune system means our blood system will become deficient. It must be sufficient, but if it is becoming deficient means the organ systems will fail to work in our body. So that's why it is affecting human beings only. This virus is called human immunodeficiency virus. The most important part of this virus, TMV virus and HIV virus, they are RNA virus. RNA virus. Okay, TMV virus, tobacco mosaic virus. It is infecting the plant. It is having RNA. But here, as I said, animals will be having the virus DNA as DNA. But here, this HIV virus, the virus which is infecting human beings, that means animal is having RNA, genetic material. And this is because of this reason, medicine is not so far discovered, because RNA virus is ever changing. The naked genetic material. Next one, this is a naked genetic material. In 1971, Theo Diner isolated a single-stranded RNA. Single-stranded RNA. It was found to be so. 1971, Theo Diner he isolated some single-stranded RNA. He was unable to find out whether it is bacteria or any other microbe. So slowly, he found that it is RNA and it is lacking protein coat. The important part here is it is lacking the protein coat. That means it is not a virus. Then what it is? It could be something else. And that is found in viruses. Protein code will be found, RNA will be found. But here only RNA is there. Hence the name is given as viroids. Okay, the spelling is wrong here. So viroids, VIROIDS. Viroids. The RNA viroid has low molecular weight because it is not having any protein cover. It is having low molecular weight. Prions. Now coming to prions, it will be having protein code. It won't have nucleic acid. Nucleic acid means the new DNA or RNA will be lacking. So some infectious agents which possess only proteins and no nucleic acids are called prions. And they cause scrappy disease in sheep and the mad cow disease in cows. Next, coming to the assignment. Assignment 3, it is given from the biological classification only. Second chapter. Very short answer questions. 8 questions I have given. How are viroids different from viruses? Viruses will be having only the genetic material RNA, no protein coat, whereas the viruses will be having both protein coat and the genetic material DNA or RNA. What do the terms phycoband and mycoband signify? Yesterday's class we have finished in kingdom fungi. What do the terms algal bloom and red tide signify? Algal blooms, no stock. Recall that cyanobacteria. They are going to form the algal blooms. Red tides signify red tides in the Mediterranean Sea. Next, state two economically important uses of heterotrophic bacteria. Heterotrophic bacteria for producing antibiotics. Who proposed the 5 kingdom classification? As you all know, Alright, we take care. How many kingdoms of this classification contains eukaryotes? You have to find out how many are eukaryote kingdoms and how many is prokaryotic kingdom. In the classification table, you can find out. Give the main criteria for classification by Whittaker. On what basis he classified? On the reproductive structure basis. Name 2 diseases caused by mycoplasma. What are the slime molds? And explain what is meant by plasmodium with reference to slime molds. So these are the things you have to write down the assignment. I hope you are doing well with all the assignments. With this, we finish today's session. Thank you all.
Hello, Madhu sir. Madhu sir, line లో ఉన్నారా?